Hello, I'm FPX and you might have noticed this, but whenever I run a Minecraft server experiment on this channel, I usually do so on a tiny world, a 256 by 256 world to be precise, and the way you get one of these worlds, because a lot of people have been asking, is quite simple to explain. There is a world type option in Minecraft. You can pick the old world type and you'll get an entirely different seed, because here's the deal. If we type in this seed with the infinite generation, we'll spawn into a world that looks something like this. As you can see, it's real nice, it's real beautiful. There are many things to say about it for an average Minecraft seed. I mean, it's actually kind of above average. I'd wager in some ways it's better than what you're maybe used to because of the variety of trees you can see and the options you have available. But here's the deal. If you type in this same exact seed, -822-63472, but this time with the world type selected on old, then you'll spawn in a world which looks entirely different, as you can already see. This is entirely different, not just because it's 256 by 256. I mean, it's tiny. You can see the edge of the world there. You can see the edge of the world there. You can see a corner over there, and you can probably see the back corner over there too. But the craziest bit about this, and it's not even the height limit as well, it's also the fact that, hey, this is a different spawn in so many ways. The biomes are closer together. There's ocean right next to me, which is potentially great. The swamp biome is gone, and also there's a village within reach of the spawn. Villages are really rare in the old size world type, so this is already kind of a notable seed. If you just want to play on a tiny world, this is one of your options. Obviously, you don't have access to the nether unless we take this world, which is on the old world type, as we can confirm one more time. There was the world, here is the old type, and now if we scroll all the way down to the bottom where usually there's export, delete, and copy, you've got a button to make the world infinite. When you press that button, it changes it around and it makes it into an infinite Minecraft world as opposed to an old one. And you might be like, so it's gonna look exactly like it did before? No, here's the interesting thing. You actually get a third set of generation. It doesn't look like either of the two generations you're used to. It doesn't extend on from the world in a normal way, and it doesn't use your normal generation. Instead, it will do something like this, where previously there was a world border, now there is a mesa biome, it looks like. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of the weirdness of this, because it is, let's not kid ourselves, a very, very strange thing. So let's talk about precisely what happened here, why, and some of the strangeness around it. But first of all, hello, I'm FPX. Welcome back to Seed Sunday, the weekly series where I show you seeds for Minecraft that are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. And this particular seed is one that is very interesting when you use this particular combination of things. And it's not only this seed, there are going to be many other examples, but this is a great one because it does surround the old style world with a literal wall, as you can see right here. Why exactly is that? Why is there a wall of mesa that you can see on pretty much all the sides of this world? In fact, if we show you a map, you can see it much more clearly. A world that was previously a few different biomes combined, including some ocean, is surrounded entirely by a mesa biome, the same mesa on all four sides, in case you're curious. And what's the deal with that? It's very, very, very interesting, and the simple explanation to this one, once we ignore some of the casualties, like this villager who's stuck in a river over here, this villager whose house now just faces a giant brick wall, and even worse, this villager's house who seems to have been eaten up entirely by the mesa biome. Very fascinating things, right? But once we get past the the interesting little bits, like the fact that you can access caves directly and so on and so forth with all of these different sides, once you get past that, the simple equation of why is it there is because the Minecraft world generated brand new chunks in places where previously there were none. I mean, it was a void before, but that was just a way of displaying the information that there was nothing there. And when it generated brand new chunks, those brand new chunks were determined to be mesa, because what this should be in a Minecraft world was clearly determined to be a mesa biome, because Minecraft doesn't care about what it has already when it seeks a new chunk. It just asks the game what chunk should go there, and in an infinite style world, I would be willing to bet at these coordinates right here, what is meant to be here is a mesa biome. But the question is, why exactly is a mesa biome supposed to be here when we spawned in naturally we had that weird swamp around us? Why exactly is it that when you spawn in with an infinite world, you get one world, when you spawn in with an old world, you get a second, but it's a third world type altogether for this, and that should be down to simple spawning coordinates. I'd be willing to bet, in fact, I'll check and confirm right now, that we spawn at 481, 4 roughly, in the old style world. But when we check the infinite version of the same seed, you can actually see that we spawn, several thousand blocks away, 2,446 and 40 instead. The spawn conditions are very different based on your type of world, which shouldn't really matter because they've got different world generations anyway. But where it does start to matter is when you actually expand your world, an option they made available, because a lot of Minecraft Pocket Edition players made their worlds before infinite was a world type. Again, this is such an old time ago thing. Most people don't remember it now, but at one point, Minecraft Pocket PlayStation worlds weren't infinite. I actually played in the first update after they had infinite worlds. It was a wacky thing at the time that like, wow, we're not constrained on all sides. But the reason it's so interesting is because if we now go into creative, the side consequence of this is down to Minecraft's world generator, which doesn't care what you have in a chunk already, it just cares what should go there instead. And like I predicted, here at the spawn area for the old size world, again, when it's an old size world, it's got one set of generation that's entirely different. When it is an infinite world, what should be here is a mesa. If we look around, you can see how like there's a mesa plateau biome over at these coordinates right here that I'd be willing to bet, should we go back to the old style world which we've expanded, would also be here as well. In fact, actually, let's show this exact same position but from two different angles. Mesa Plateau in an infinite world. Mesa Plateau in the same world, except this time it's first generated as an old style world. Really, the weird thing here is not the Mesa biome, which generated on all four sides of it, it's the fact that this part even exists whatsoever. But the interesting thing is, this part does in fact exist, and even though you would expect it to be like, oh yeah, so how is this really treated? It does still keep all of its characteristics of the old biomes. So that is still an ocean in the middle of a mesa. This is still a village which exists just in the middle of a mesa biome. This is still a birch forest, again, weirdly enough, in the middle of a mesa biome, and there's many other weird things that we can kind of suggest that follow this exact same definition. It's super strange, it's super weird, but that is just the situation that you'll find on this seed. So there's a lot of fun things you can take from this that will actually help you understand future things about your Minecraft world and how you should explore them, because again, people always bring up the questions of like, should I reset my nether for the next update, or why is there no reset nether switch and things like that, and that leads me to believe that people do have concerns about their current world versus the future. So let's look at this right now and let's take some lessons from this, but first let's goof around with it just a tiny bit more, because hey, this particular seed is just not only a cool thing to check out, both as an old style world, but also if you choose to make it infinite, but also this is a really fun thing that I actually recommend you use as your own seed Sunday choice as a way to start a world, because people won't believe the way this generates, but yeah, it's a normal thing contained within Minecraft's normal generation. So yeah, all you have to do if you want to find this is do the steps that I've shown you so far, and if you do so, you'll find some weird things such as water, which isn't flowing. If you make a block update, it will start flowing, by the way, so just be warned of that. If you touch anything next to the water or including the water, you'll start a waterfall, so easy way to get up and down, maybe. Second of all, because this is a mesa biome, it generates more gold, which means in the walls of this alone, again, even if you want to keep the walls there, you're going to find yourself a lot of gold ore really easily accessible, because that Minecraft doesn't know that there's no mesa biome here, it just knows it's meant to generate a new chunk, and that one was a mesa biome. It makes the assumption there was probably a mesa biome before, but there's no check to see what there is, so it doesn't smoothly go over. Instead, you just get this big wall, which contains, again, gold here, gold there, some more gold over there, which is wonderful, but also access to a cave, from which within, you know what you're going to find a lot of? Gold ore here, gold ore there, gold ore everywhere, you could say, which is real nice. And because this mesa goes on all sides, you can do that pretty much anywhere you want. I mean, this is kind of the equivalent of just finding a mesa plateau, except it's got a really weird hill digging into the side of it. But if you go back to the other sides, where again, the same thing will happen, guess what? More gold immediately available. Gold, 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 and then caves where you can easily find some more as well. It's a really nice benefit of using this particular seed in this way, and that's not to mention the fact that every Minecraft world, especially when you go further away from spawn, has biomes which are hundreds of blocks wide in size. This is a birch forest biome, which is, a few dozen blocks, a regular forest, which is a few dozen blocks, a swamp, which is a few dozen blocks, a river, a plains. Look at this. This plains, which spawned in a horse, by the way, and a baby horse. How cute they spawned in together. This happens right in the middle of a mesa next to a swamp and a forest. Admittedly, there are some more fun biome combinations you might be able to get in Infinite World, but that's my point. This is a great seed to use by itself, but it's also a great proof of the fact that, like, yeah, different generation gels together in really interesting ways. This is one of the guiding points behind my Let's Play world, and it's also why I want to use this advice to help you out, because if you notice, looking at the corners of this world, it's not a perfect square from which the mesa is encroached into it. The reason the mesa biome generated here is because this chunk was unloaded at the time that I made my world infinite. If we go into the exact same world and actually explore every single chunk ourselves, or get within 10 chunks or so of it, then these things would be explored, etc, etc. But because I hadn't even explored them once, Minecraft hadn't generated them until just now, when for the first time it had to do precisely that. Or to simplify it down, at least in Minecraft Bedrock, Java has a similar procedure, but it's a bit more stringent. In Minecraft Bedrock, it doesn't matter if you can see a chunk, it matters if it's loaded in the blocks and committed them to memory, which will only do inside of your simulation distance. This leads to the weird wacky scenario where even though I could see the entire world, I could see all the world boundaries, right? Because they weren't loaded in anything besides a visual sense, it means that when I loaded this in and actually went to them, it loaded them in a more than visual sense. So here is me in another world of the exact same seed of the exact same old world type. As you can see, all of the chunks are clearly loaded in, but only visually speaking. If we actually look at the my simulation distance, it's set to 4 chunks, which means anything within 4 chunks of me, with a little bit of a margin of error too, from right here, will be loaded into memory and will be saved into there, but everything else, it doesn't care about what's actually happening, it's just giving me a visual representation of what it should look like, which means the oddest thing will happen when we make this world infinite, because again, looking at all 4 of these corners right now, including this very village, but now once we make it infinite, like we just have, as you can see, weirdly enough, the village I was just looking at has instead been fully replaced with the mesa. It doesn't seem to be done in a consistent way. Again, you'd figure it should make a circle around me, but because of, I guess, the generation of a village, that seems to change a few things over there. But yeah, otherwise you can see how, like, yeah, 4 chunk distance of me, very precisely in every single direction, there is mesa biome, because even though we could see things before then, those things weren't real, those things didn't truly exist, it seems, and that's why here I am instead, looking at a world that is very different than otherwise I would predict. The way you can use this information to your advantage for the Nether update, and indeed any other update, because let's be honest, 1.17, 1.18, etc., some of those are going to update biomes in ways that you would like to see in your existing Minecraft worlds. Some people play around with their Minecraft save files. I personally, you know, like, I think it's fine to do. Like, you can define what isn't cheating for yourself if you really want to. Personally, I'd put that under my little definition of cheating. Also, look at this. You can see that an abandoned mineshaft has spawned through here now as a result. Real nice. But yeah, personally, I put that under my little definition of, like, cheating. But again, it's like it's down to you to decide what you want to do for your own worlds. If you want to reset your Nether by deleting world files, technically you can do that. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to play within the rules that Minecraft gives you itself, which is what in my opinion is the point of the game, then you can use information to your advantage for the Nether, because if you turn down your simulation distance while you're exploring new parts of it, or even better yet, because playing around with your simulation distance it has like a lot of unintended consequences, because things don't simulate past that. That's how Minecraft Bedrock has such great performance. But instead, if you just don't go near areas of your world that you know you haven't explored yet, then because they're not explored, even though you can see them, the way they actually will generate will change after 1.14, after 1.16 I should say. Really after every update, because after 1.14 villages changed, and that's something you can see halfway through villages in some case. In 1.16 the Nether changes, and anything that you have right now will stay. Anything that you haven't been within 4 to 12 chunks of will change to be new Nether, which means if you want to find new Nether biomes like the Warp Forest or the Crimson Forest or the Soul Sand Valley, or maybe even those Basalt Delta I want to say, if you want to find any of those new biomes, do you know where you find them? In your existing Minecraft world, in unexplored chunks. So that is what I'm personally going to be doing. I explore my Nether in a very straight line fashion, as we've shown up before, but that is how you can do that. That's how you can use that information, and boom, this Seed Sunday was actually a trick to teach you about how to prepare for the Nether update. How'd you like that one, friends? But it is also a Seed Sunday. I take my Seed Sunday duties very seriously, so allow me to show you around this particular Minecraft world that you'll get if you do the little trick that I mentioned in this video, which anyone with Minecraft Bedrock can in fact do. So yeah, it's a really fun spawn, because where else are you going to get a plains biome that has all these forests within it, and a village even inside of a, you know, like entirely surrounded by mesa on all sides? I'll give you a clue, that doesn't happen naturally, so that's fun. But you can also see in every direction of it, even though there's a lot of mesa to tread through, so if you don't like mesa, you might not like this seed. But something you'll find as a result that's very interesting to me is a iceberg biome in this direction. Very nice, very easy. You'll also find like a nice little ocean if you want to just get away, get in your boat and leave this and come back to it later. It's a fun spawn area that maybe you want to leave behind, although I don't recommend using Seed Sunday seeds just to leave the spawn, but maybe that's your thing in life. Maybe you just want a good spawn for later because it can't be changed. But also, if we go to the other side, you can see how this mesa transitions into a jungle, which is super nice. Two of Minecraft's better looking biomes or more stunning looking biomes right next to one another, that's just objectively good stuff, in my opinion, right? So yeah, also look, it's a bamboo forest. That's another biome people wanted in their old Minecraft worlds, and this is a huge bamboo forest as well that you have direct access to. Do you know what? Do you want pandas? You're probably gonna find some pandas here. Or some cows. I mean, cows are kind of the pandas of the farmyard animal world, if you think about it. They're white, they're black. But yeah, this is a thing that you can find in your Minecraft world. It's nice. There are pandas. Is that another cow? Again, cows are the pandas of the farmyard world. Who needs pandas when you've got cows? I question you. But yeah, it's a really interesting seed in so many other ways, and I definitely recommend you check it out for that. But this seed someday was mostly an explanation on how you can save your existing worlds and do some super wacky stuff. I hope you enjoyed it for that reason. I hope you found it to be informative, educational, and entertaining. And if you did, you can like, you can favorite, or you can subscribe respectively. Wait. Yeah, that probably makes enough sense. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you did all enjoy. You can do some things that indicate that you like me if you did like it. And if you dislike the video and you think, man, this toy cat guy's got to stop showing up in my recommended, then you know what? Watching the videos all the way to the end, probably a bad way to send YouTube that message. But no, thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone who makes it possible for me to pursue my dreams of sharing with strangers some of the weird things I've found. And thank you to Clara Smith for sharing this seed with me. I hope you all have a wonderful day, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.